Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Happy Thursday. Today is July the 18th. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And you, my friend, are watching the Ramon Preston Show. If you're coming on, joining us, please do me a quick favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Be sure to tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know that your boy, my squad, we are all live right here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Also, I want you to put in the comments what city you're watching us from. I always love to know that you're watching us from different cities outside of Metro Atlanta. We appreciate all of you for continuing to support our show, for continuing to support our social media channels, and for allowing us to share information with you that we know can help you start, structure, and at some point scale any business, any ministry, any income stream, and any wealth building dream that you may have. So today, I really want to talk to you all about holding companies and net worth. Holding companies and net worth. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you should already be familiar with what a holding company is. And just to simplify it, in the event that you're watching for the first time, a holding company is a parent company. It is the main entity that you're using to hold all of the other assets that you at some point will accumulate and acquire throughout your business tenure. So whether those assets are intellectual assets, physical assets, or both, having a holding company is essential. It is essential to building a successful organizational enterprise. Most holding companies, at least in today's world, are structured as LLCs. And of course, if you have a tax CPA or some type of strategist or a lawyer that you're working with, they can give you the advice legally and financially on what entity you need. But for the most part, a holding company is a LLC that you set up. But the purpose for which you're using that LLC is what really makes it a holding company. And in most cases, when you have a holding company, you're using it to hold assets. You're using it to be the parent company to all the other entities and assets that you're going to accumulate and acquire. So hopefully you know what a holding company is. Hopefully you understand that. If for some reason you don't, hey, we have a lot of information that we can share with you. I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube page. You can always go through our YouTube channel and just look at the playlist we have for holding companies. There's probably hundreds of videos just on how to start and structure a holding company. But today we're talking about holding companies and net worth. Now, when you think about net worth, we're just going to simplify it today for our conversation. When you think about net worth, I want you to think about all of your assets minus all of your liabilities and what it is that you have left, okay? So just to simplify it without getting deep into accounting, you have assets, you have liabilities, and when you deduct liabilities from assets, you're going to get net worth. Now, I really want you to understand that your net worth, not just as an individual, but your net worth as a company, as a business, it is more important than your credit report, than your credit score. Sometimes it's more important than all the other things that you have prioritized over it. But no one is going to have any kind of net worth if they don't have some type of assets. So if I had to give you a key to using a holding company for increasing your net worth, I would have to say that key is assets. It's assets. And again, there are so many different assets that we can identify with. There are intellectual assets, physical assets, business assets, real estate assets, equipment assets, digital currency assets, all types of assets, paper assets. But my point is, I want you to understand the relationship between holding companies and net worth. And if you start doing some research, here's something you're going to learn. You're going to learn that a lot of the companies that have high net worths are companies that are structured as holding companies, and they understand the importance of assets. Okay? So my goal today is to help you understand the relationship between holding companies and net worth, and how do you use a holding company to increase your net worth. And again, we're not talking about your credit report. We're not talking about your credit score. We're talking about your net worth. And if you listen to people like me, you're not going to be focused so much on your own personal net worth as much as you will be focused on your business or your company's net worth. Now I'm talking to entrepreneurs. So I'm going to assume that you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to build something successful. Well, if that's the case, then your goal is going to be to create a holding company. This is going to be your goal, is to create a holding company. And once you create that holding company, your goal, outside of all the other things that you might be doing in terms of marketing your business, selling products and services, your goal, even for doing those things, should be to increase your company's or your enterprise or your organization's net worth. Now, how are you going to use this type of entity or the entity structure to increase your net worth? Well, you're going to do it in a couple different ways. Number one, you're going to do it by clearly understanding that it all begins and ends with assets. I have to have assets, okay? And there's a few things that you're going to do when it comes to assets. Number one, you're going to learn how to accumulate assets. Okay? You're going to learn how to accumulate assets, because this is going to help you in using your holding company to increase your net worth. And you're going to do that by, number one, accumulating assets. All right? Accumulating assets. Now, what is asset accumulation? Well, accumulation is basically you identifying with things in your business, that you know you can monetize, that you know have some form of value. Which, by the way, I have an entire course inside of my Millionaire Blueprint just on how to increase your net worth using your holding company. And what I tell my students and clients and mentees to do is take the asset accumulation and acquisition test. So we'll get to how you take that test. But the first key to using a holding company for increasing your net worth is to accumulate assets, all right? Once you start the process of accumulating assets, it's easy then to acquire assets. Now, some people may not consider these to be separate things, but I consider these to be two separate activities. Because when you are accumulating assets, what you are essentially doing is you're looking at all the things that might be in the ecosystem of your enterprise. You're looking at what you already have. So when I created my holding company, Ramon Preston Enterprises, I had to accumulate assets even before I started acquiring assets. And how did I do that? Well, I had to look at what assets did I have that I know had the potential to be monetized. What did I own that I could actually monetize? Okay, like for example, I owned ideas. And there's so many different assets. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I owned ideas. I had an idea for business consulting. I had an idea for coaching. I had an idea for education. That idea turned into RPU, Ramon Preston University. That idea turned into, I'm abbreviating, the Millionaire Blueprint. That idea turned into the RP Consulting Group. That idea turned into the School of Ministry, the School of Prophets. That idea turned into a licensing program. That idea turned into a coaching and consulting certification program. Okay, so all of these ideas that I had were assets that I decided to accumulate inside of the ecosystem of my enterprise. Because when I started Ramon Preston Enterprises, I wasn't monetizing any of this. I wasn't monetizing it, at least I wasn't monetizing it at the level that I could. I might have had some seminars and some courses and a couple trainings going on and maybe had a couple clients here or there, but I wasn't monetizing it because I did not accumulate these things and bring them together and make them make sense. So whenever you are in the process of accumulating assets and preparing yourself to acquire assets because you want to increase your net worth through your holding company, you want to give yourself what we call the asset accumulation or asset acquisition test. And one of the first questions you're going to ask yourself, all this is in one of my courses, by the way. One of the first questions you want to ask yourself is, does this thing that I have as an idea, does it have the potential to monetize? Can I monetize this? Can I make money from this? Well, you can ask yourself that question all you want to, but how you going to find out? Here's how you're going to find out, just like I did. Well, I created Ramon Preston University. I started standing in front of my board like I'm now with my camera and my mic, and I started creating courses. I started putting these courses together on how to start and structure holding companies, creative tax strategies. I put courses together for real estate investing, for systems and processes and leadership and ministry and all these courses. And I ultimately created the Millionaire Blueprint as a program inside of Ramon Preston University. And then I put a dollar amount to it and said, hey, I'm offering courses for this price. Then I created a coaching program and then I presented that with a price. I offered consulting services to small businesses or to ministries or to small organizations that needed some reorganizing or restructuring. And guess what? I started monetizing it. Now, it's not easy to do this stuff, okay? It's not like you're going to just wake up with an idea, put a name on it, package it up, put it out in the market, and people just going to buy it. Sometimes that happens, but a lot of times it don't happen like that. For most of us as entrepreneurs, it don't happen like that. It takes us a lot of hiccups. It takes us a lot of, ups and downs and a lot of challenges to start getting some momentum to make money. But my point is, if you're going to use your holding company to increase your net worth, it's going to come through, number one, accumulating assets. And so you have to start identifying with things in your life that have the potential to be monetized. Now, again, if we go into the weeds of different assets that you can accumulate, here's what you're going to find out. There are assets that you personally own, as an individual, that you need to convert to allow your business to own. There are assets that you own, things that you personally own that do have monetary value, but you're holding them. And if you have a business, especially this type of business enterprise with the holding company, you got to make the decision. Do I want to hold on to this asset, or do I want to transfer the ownership of this asset to my company, because this asset has the potential to monetize? Here's another question. Does this asset assist you in the enterprise, in elevating your enterprise value? So if there's an asset that I personally own, I've got to look at that asset and ask myself, does this asset monetize? Can this make money? Let's say that it can't monetize. Okay, next question. Can this asset assist me in elevating my enterprise value? Well, maybe it can. It could be stocks and bonds. It could be a retirement account that you self-direct under your enterprise. You might have $100,000 in a retirement account, and you connect with a custodian, which, by the way, we have that relationship. If you need that with a custodian, you can connect with a custodian, allow them to walk you through the process of creating a self-directed IRA. I've done this stuff with clients, so I know it works. Now you have a self-directed IRA. It could be in an entity connected to your holding company. And now that $100,000 that's in an entity or in a self-directed IRA can bring value to your holding company to continue to increase the net worth. Again, these are assets. I don't know, you might have a personal savings account. If that's cash just sitting and your holding company ain't got no money, it don't make sense. So a lot of times when you are transitioning into the world of entrepreneurship, you can't just transition into the world of entrepreneurship thinking like someone who's self-employed, okay? Someone who just wants to own a job. That's not how you transition into entrepreneurship. You transition into entrepreneurship getting educated to understand certain concepts and to be able to implement certain principles that give you the most leverage and the most bang for your buck. And for me, that starts with the holding company. And then once I have my holding company set up, boom, I need to figure out what assets do I have? What assets do I own, and how can I identify with these assets, bring them together to, number one, monetize and make money off of, or number two, assist me in elevating my enterprise value. So that's the test that you're going to have to take, okay? Another question you're going to ask yourself about accumulating and acquiring assets. Does this asset fit the criteria for a division or subsidiary? So now I have to determine, like, for example, with all these assets that I just named, all of these assets were divisions. They were not separate subsidiaries because they were not too risky for me. I could just operate these services, education, coaching, and consulting inside of my holding company with insurance. And that's exactly what I did, because I didn't have anything of value anyway in there. I was just accumulating assets. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I hadn't accumulated or acquired any assets of substantial value, so it really didn't jeopardize anything. All right? Now, here's what happened. Once I started looking at other assets that I had, like skill sets and abilities, I realized that one of my assets was real estate investing. My ability to find deals, to underwrite deals, to acquire real estate, to fix them, flip them, or do whatever it is that I wanted to do with them. That's a skill set that I have. That's an ability. That's experience. I've done it. My wife and I, we've been in the business. So guess what? Instead of packaging that just in a course or in a mentorship program, we created a subsidiary. So we created RP Capital. So now we have an investment company, an asset management company, so that we can now not just focus on accumulating assets, but we can also focus on acquiring assets. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is what increases your net worth, okay? So you want to ask yourself those questions. Does this idea or this asset that I'm identifying with, does it have the potential to monetize? Can I make money inside of my holding company with this or under my holding company with this? Next question. Does this asset assist me in elevating my enterprise value? So now, can I increase my enterprise value? Can I increase my net worth or elevate my enterprise value by placing this asset inside of my holding company or under my holding company? All right. Does this asset fit the criteria for a division or a subsidiary? Another great question you want to ask is, what are the variables of that asset? When I say variables, what am I talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. I teach people about real estate investing. That's one asset. So I have a course. I can coach people about real estate investing. That's another asset. I can consult real estate investors who want to get into real estate investing. That's another asset. So those are three different assets. But guess what? I can actually invest in real estate myself. That's another asset. And when you look at those four different assets I just mentioned, one of them is considered a subsidiary, a separate business entity. Three of them could just be divisions, all under one umbrella. This is how you increase your net worth through your holding company. You should not be so focused on trying to increase your personal net worth as much as you're increasing your company's net worth. You should not be so focused on trying to accumulate assets personally or acquire assets personally. You should be focused on accumulating and acquiring assets corporately through your entity, through your enterprise, because it will have a greater impact on your personal net worth when you do it this way. So I would love to get any questions. If you have any questions about what we're talking on today, remember, I'm focusing on holding companies and net worth. I wanted you to understand the relationship between both and how do you use a holding company? How do you use a holding company to increase your net worth? I just showed you. You use your holding company to increase your net worth by first and foremost creating the holding company, okay? And then once you create the holding company, you look at all of the assets that you have, okay? Most of the assets are probably going to be owned or controlled by you personally when you first get started because your organization really doesn't have any assets yet. So it could be equipment, it could be stocks and bonds, it could be retirement accounts, savings accounts, insurance policies, it could be lines of credit, credit cards, it could be cash sitting in a savings, it could be real estate, it could be vehicles, it could be intellectual assets. Whatever those assets are, you have to identify with those assets and then you have to start the accumulation process. And I'm using the word accumulation because I'm explaining to you that you have to take those assets, bring them inside of here, and make sure that they make financial sense. Either they're going to monetize or they're going to elevate the enterprise value. That's what you want those assets to do as you accumulate them. And then there's going to be assets that you will acquire that will subsequently do the same thing, whether it's through a division here inside of your holding company or whether it's through subsidiaries outside of your holding company. The ultimate goal is to increase your net worth and do it through this entity because you accumulated and acquired a substantial amount of assets. That's enough free game for today, y'all. I'm giving it to you. I'm showing you how to do it. And I'm showing you how to do it as a small business owner. I'm showing you how to do it as a solopreneur, as a single member LLC owner who might not have anything but the commitment and the courage to move forward and to create something special. Okay? Do you have to be 55 and older for a self-directed IRA? To my knowledge, no. No, I know many people who have IRA, have retirement accounts, 401ks, 501, whatever they are, 403bs. I'm talking about 501c3, 401ks, 403bs. They have retirement accounts, and they self-direct, and they're not 55 and older. So no, you don't have to be. And again, I'm not a custodian. I'm the investor. So I just work with clients who want to use their money to make money. So I'm the investor. I'm not the custodian, but we do have a company that we recommend and that we work with. And if you go to RamonPrestonCapital.com, RamonPrestonCapital.com. So that's RamonPrestonCapital.com. If you go to RamonPrestonCapital.com, there's going to be a link that you will see that says self-directed IRA. Now, of course, we're using this for private money lenders that we work with. So if someone wants to become a private money lender on our deals, when we acquire real estate, they want to invest money as a private money lender. They want to secure that lending with or back it by that real estate, and they want to use their retirement account. Then we're going to direct them to this company that will work with them, assist them, set everything up, and show them exactly how that whole process works. So there are a lot of reputable companies out there, but again, we have a company that we are going to recommend when we work with someone. So you can go to RamonPrestonCapital.com to get that information. That's if you are looking to self-direct, all right? So again, hopefully this helped you all understand the relationship between holding companies and net worth, and how you're going to use your holding company to increase your net worth through assets. You're going to accumulate assets and acquire assets. I like to encourage people to start with the accumulation, because now it challenges you to look at what do you have that has monetary value? What do you have what do you possess and control that has monetary value, that can make money? What do you possess and control that has enterprise value? Whatever those things are, especially if you personally hold them and control them, you need to transfer the ownership of them inside of this enterprise, so that you can parlay them, leverage them, run the play with them to get where you want to go. All right? If you need any help, if you need any questions answered, or if you would like for my team and I to assist you with anything relating to this, outside of the courses and any consulting that we do, we're more than happy to answer any question you may have. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put two numbers on the screen right here. You can text strategy to one of those two numbers, or you can just call one of them. We're here at the office, ready to answer your questions, ready to assist you to help you get to your next level. So I appreciate you all for joining the show today. Thank you. We love you. And of course, as long as we're not out on the field looking at real estate, in an appointment with a client, or doing some deal, we will be back here, same place, same time tomorrow, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. All right, have an amazing Thursday. Peace.